Reverend Steve, keeping it simple, we're still debunking the pre-trib rapture. And instead of 2 Thessalonians, I'm going to go into 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16. And I want to take this from Paul's own teaching, his own mouth. And that's the best way to learn, is to put the scriptures together, right? So you're going to look into 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. We're going to read that. We're going to look at Matthew 24 and what Jesus says about his return. We're going to look at Revelation, which we did yesterday, Revelation 20, verse 4 through 6, that talks about only 2 resurrections, and blessed are those in the first resurrection. So this talks about the first resurrection. There's only 2 resurrections. This talks about the first one, and this is from Paul's own mouth. And this is how we have to learn and teach this subject. It's from the scriptures, because there's so many teachings out there. People have really went off the farm with the teachings out there. It's just, and they make a business out of it, to be honest with you, from the books, the movies, and everything else. Once they make the movies about it, then it's a false teaching, because it's getting into realms that, that are not owned. They're owned by the man that owns this world at the moment. That's Satan. So you have to use the scriptures. Always use the scriptures to study, to bounce back and forth. So if you see resurrection, this is how I would study this, and I hope you study this. When you see the word resurrection, go to everywhere it says resurrection, and you're going to find out there's only 2 resurrections. There's not more than 2. And I've explained that the other teaching there has to be 3. There's talking about this one when Jesus returns, and the wrath of God falls right afterwards, or there's 3 of them, and there is not 3 of them. There's only 2. So let's get into this. So let's get into 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16. For the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a shout, and the voice of the archangel, and the trumpet of God. And the dead in Christ will rise first. First resurrection. The dead in Christ will rise first. Then we who are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds and meet the Lord in the air. It's pretty simple and straightforward, right? So if there's only 2 resurrections of the dead, this is talking about one of them. And we go to Revelation 20, and it talks about the attributes of those who resist the Antichrist and do not take the mark, and they're part of the first resurrection. This one right here, same one, no difference. And then you go into 2 Thessalonians 2, which we'll go in tomorrow, and it talks about the attributes or the things that have to happen before Jesus returns, and this happens, is that a falling away happens, and the man of sin is revealed. We'll get into that tomorrow. God bless.